Hi, how are you? I'm Chef Tom, and this is the Cardinal Cafe at Manual Career Technical Center. Today, we're going to go ahead and we're going to create some beautiful Cobb salads. We're going to do a vegetarian and a regular. The vegetarian Cobb salad is just in case you're not a meat eater, but in this case, on our carnivorous one, we're going to be using Spatchcock. And we went ahead and we cooled the under 41 degrees so that we know it's not in the danger zone. So I'm going to set this aside and we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with our dressing first. So today we're just going to make a real easy white wine vinaigrette. We're going to start with some real nice white wine vinegar. We're looking for about a half a cup, okay? Get our white wine vinegar in there. We're going to go ahead with our fresh herbs. We're going to use lemon juice from about a half a lemon. And we always squeeze this up into our hand so that while the lemon juice goes into your hand, the seeds stay on top of the lemon. We're going to put a little garlic in there. Then we're going to go ahead with our olive oil. And a good part of today's show is about kitchen gadgets, and we've got some pretty neat gadgets to show you. First one's just going to be a simple pepper grinder. Getting some fresh ground black pepper in there. And now that we have all of our ingredients in our dressing, we're going to go ahead with our immersion blender and just whip this up a little. And it is that simple to make a really great, really fresh white wine vinaigrette dressing. Now you notice we didn't chop our herbs or anything when we threw them in there. That's because our immersion blender chops everything up for us. It's a good looking dressing. So our next thing that we're going to use is our head of lettuce. We're just going to bust out that core. Then we're going to take, using our really sharp knife, we're just going to give this a quick chop. Now, if you see, you look at this head of lettuce has a lot of rust in it. Okay, that's something we can't see when we first start. Okay? So, instead of just cutting into it that way, we're going to have to go in and take off a few sections of leaf that are nice and clean, and then get rid of these few rusty leaves that are in here. There. And we'll just get rid of that rusty stuff, and we'll go ahead and we'll chop up the rest. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put this lettuce right in our salad spinner. Once we have our lettuce in there, we're going to get a little cool water in there. We bring the top back to our salad spinner, and then we're just going to give it a run around. Now, centrifugal force is forcing the water out of the lettuce. We're going to take off our cover, and it's a lot like the spin cycle in a wash machine at home. So we've got our lettuce, and you can see that water, all that water came out of the lettuce. We're going to grab a couple of plates here, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our lettuce on plates to start our salads here. And the thing is, with a Cobb salad, well, you just need enough lettuce for a good base. Because the fact of the matter is that there's so many toppings on a Cobb salad that you really don't want to overload this plate. So, while we are starting our Cobb salad, I'm going to grab a towel and wipe up just a little here, because a clean workspace is important. Your space has to be clean to get the job done right. So, let's go ahead and clean off our knife. Now, for our next gadget, we're going to use a zester. We're going to make these cucumbers look like $1 million. Take your zester and just peel it down. And just keep on doing that all the way around the cucumber. And you're going to see when we get done that it has a really cool effect when you go to slice your cucumbers. Okay? I'm going to set that guy aside. We're going to cut off our top and our bottom. And now we're going to take and we're just going to work all of this peeling off of here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get rid of this. And then we're going to take our cucumber and we're just going to cut it lengthways. Okay? And then we're going to take and do a little bias cut. Okay, and we can take this cucumber and we can start this on either side of our salad for our beginning for both salads, okay? Because even though one is a vegetarian and one has meat, we're going to want to have some nice vegetables on the one with meat as well. We want to try and keep everything inside the rim of our plate. Now, on our vegetarian salad, we'll probably go with some nice corn next. And then we're going to want to jump in with some black beans. Black beans are a really great source of protein. Still trying to keep everything in that rim, keep nice straight lines. We're going to go ahead and we're going to cut up some grape tomatoes. And you only need about 6 or 8 grape tomatoes on your salad. And then we're going to clean up an avocado and we're going to put some blue cheese on there. And then we'll get our dressing together and that will be the vegetarian salad. Just get these tomatoes here down on this edge like this. Very nice. We'll get our blue cheese on there. There we go. Now, a lot of vegetarians will eat shrimp on their Cobb salad. These are what's known as a pescatarian. And quite honestly, I don't like shrimp on my vegetarian salad. I find it to be a little shellfish. So, going forward, we're going to go ahead and get our containers for our dressing and our dressing itself. And we're just going to pour the dressing right in there. You have a beautiful, very fresh herb vinaigrette that we just made. We're just going to get that right onto the edge of the plate. And we'll switch out our plates. And we'll start working on our regular Cobb salad. We'll go ahead and get some tomatoes cut for it. Okay, we'll get these over on this side. And just a couple more little tomatoes. These are grape tomatoes. You can use cherry tomatoes, whole tomatoes diced. You can use just about anything you want. But the fact of the matter is that this is what I like. The Cobb salad originally came to being in 1937 from the Brown Derby in Hollywood, California. The owner of the Brown Derby, it said, had a particularly long day of work, and by the time he got done, everything was kind of put away. And so he went to the walk-in refrigerator and found what he could find, and actually once he ate it, he realized he really loved it and it needed to be on the menu. And they actually wound up calling it the Cobb salad after William Howard Cobb. There's our shrimp up on there, looking good. We're going to get some nice bacon. Give that a little chop, nice big pieces of bacon. And put that on right next to our shrimp. We're going to go ahead and open up an avocado. Now, when you are cutting an avocado, you need to be intensely careful. Avocados tend to be a little slippery, and that part right there where you take that pit out, that's the point where most people usually cut themselves. You have to be intensely careful when cutting an avocado. A lot of people will dice it right inside the skin. Myself, I prefer to peel the skin right off like this so that I'm not risking that knife going right through the skin and into my hand. Okay, we're going to take this avocado and we're just going to start laying it on right by our tomatoes. And then we've got some of this beautiful spatchcock chicken that we did earlier. We're just going to put this right up on here, right by these cucumbers and shrimp. And now our last thing is going to be some Danish blue cheese. This blue cheese is a little on the salty side and a little on the briny side. So with all the mild flavors in this salad, this blue cheese is really going to bring everything to life. You can use any kind of cheese you want in a Cobb salad. I really like the blue cheese. So our last thing is to go ahead and get our dressing. And we're going to put that on the side. And you can see how absolutely delicious that dressing looks. Nice herbs in it. So, you know, we get to this point and we think, what if there's not enough stuff on that salad and we want one more thing? How about some eggs? Now we can go ahead and we can chop our eggs, or we can do the easiest thing in the world. We can just grab our grater and a hard-boiled egg and run it through. Super fast. Your egg comes out extra fine. Wait till you see this. Look at that. And then you just take one of your spoons, take your egg, and just kind of go down around this edge with it. How about that? Try and keep everything inside the edge of the plate and keep your plate nice and clean. Is your vegetarian and your traditional Cobb salad. Come back and see us again.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode. I have two goals today. The first goal is to not get tomato sauce all over my white jacket. Tomato sauce and chocolate, they're like magnets to me. The second goal is to show you guys a quick, easy, inexpensive snack that everyone loves, which is pizza. All right, so this could be a fun project for home. It could be a fun project for dinner, for lunch, for a snack. It could be interactive with your family. So we're just gonna jump right in. First thing, let's talk about the base of the pizza or the bread or the dough. Today we're gonna use just some French bread and we're gonna use bagels to make our pizzas. Nowadays in the grocery store, there's a lot of pizza doughs that are ready to eat and available that you can just purchase. You could also use biscuit dough, and you can also find a recipe and make like a yeast dough. But I wanted to show you something that you already probably may have at home, which is bread, possibly bagels. And if you wanted to, you can even just use some white bread or wheat bread as well. That would still work. Second thing that's gonna go on after our bread is our sauces. Again, this is items that you probably have at home already. So we're gonna keep it simple with some barbecue sauce. Any barbecue sauce will work. Ranch dressing, and we have some marinara sauce. So with the marinara sauce, if you have a can of tomato puree or tomato sauce, you can season that up to make your own pizza sauce. Basically what you will want to do is just add some basic Italian herbs, maybe some garlic, some onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper. If you have a tomato puree or tomato paste, you could thin it out with a little bit of water, a little bit of olive oil to kind of give it more of a viscosity. You want it a little bit loose, but you don't want it runny. But if you're using paste or tomato puree, you don't want it too thick as well. And you season it to how you like it. If you like it on the sweeter side, you can add a pinch of sugar. If you like it on the spicy side, some cayenne pepper or some crushed red pepper flakes. All right, let's talk about toppings. We have some leftover baked chicken. We have some leftover steak, pepperoni. We have some beautiful caramelized onions, which I cooked. I sauteed in a little bit of olive oil, nice low temperature until they turn brown. You may not believe it, but onions have a lot of sugar in it. And by cooking them low and slow, you can achieve a nice caramelization color. Even if you was to taste this right now, it would be on the sweeter side without adding sugar because of the natural sugars. I have some sauteed peppers. These are just bell peppers, so they're not spicy. Again, salt, pepper, a little bit of olive oil, and some sauteed mushrooms. We have 3 cheeses today. We have mozzarella, cheddar, and provolone. Again, be creative. Use your leftovers at home. If this is perfect if you have 1 or 2 pieces of chicken, if you have some leftover breakfast sausage, some leftover bacon, the possibilities are endless. Some leftover vegetables. Again, the ideal is something quick, easy, that's delicious as well as affordable. All right, so we're going to jump right in and start making some pizzas. So I'm going to put some gloves on. So again, another opportunity to have some fun time with the kids. You can set up your toppings like this. You can set up your bread. You can have your children, your family come in, make their own pizzas. It's a fun way to enjoy some good time, good quality time with dinner. So we're just going to do a couple, just so you can kind of get the picture. So on the bagel, I got some barbecue sauce. I don't know. Let's do some beef. Even if you have some leftovers from when you go out to eat, if you have a little bit of beef brisket or a little bit of barbecue chicken left over, perfect for this. A little bit of peppers. Let's do some onion. You don't need too many toppings. For this here guy, let's make this one vegetarian. So we'll do some mushrooms, do some onions, a few peppers, and let's do one more. Let's do a white pizza. All right, so again, we have our French bread. Let's do a little bit of ranch dressing on this one. All right, and maybe some chicken. And again, the good thing about this is you don't need a lot of ingredients to make a nice, healthy snack or a meal. What else haven't we used? Let's do some onion on here. And then, okay, I keep saying one more, but this is the last time. One more. We got to do the classic pepperoni, okay? So we'll do that on a bagel. Some marinara sauce or pizza sauce. We got some pepperoni. All right, now the fun part, cheese. So let's do some provolone with the beef. Maybe some provolone and cheddar. Then let's just do some straight classic mozzarella for the pepperoni. For the chicken and ranch, let's do some provolone and a little bit of mozzarella. Again, you don't have to have these cheeses. You can use whatever cheeses you have on hand. You can use whatever your favorite cheese is. And then let's just do a little cheddar on there. But we'll do all three on this one since it doesn't have any meat. Give it a little extra protein. Okay. So now that we have our pizza's ready, we're going to throw these right in the oven. About 350 degrees for about maybe 5-6 minutes, but keep an eye on it. It's not going to take long to cook. All of our ingredients here are already cooked. So we pretty much just want to melt the cheese and heat it up. And we are ready. Here's our classic pepperoni. Back glove. So we have our pepperoni on bagel. Then I did earlier a Philly cheesesteak. So we got beef, peppers, onions, mushrooms with cheddar cheese and provolone. Here we have steak and mushroom with cheddar cheese. And there's our white pizza with ranch dressing, chicken, and caramelized onions. All right, I think I made it without making a mess. I hope you had fun. I hope you try this. Be creative, keep it simple, keep it easy, and have fun. Thank you.
Hey, how you doing? It's Chef Tom over at the Cardinal Cafe. Today we're going to work on a white bean chili. With the temperatures getting a little cooler outside, we're going to start making some more heartier dishes. Having just washed our hands, the first thing we're going to do is grab our gloves, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with cutting an onion. Now remember, the most important thing is a sharp knife, okay? We're going to go over this every single time we do one of these filmings, is that your knife has to be sharp. A sharp knife will slice, a dull knife will tear. You always want your knife very, very sharp. And what we're doing with this onion today, we're just going to do a fine dice, because this onion and chicken is what's going to start the base of our chili. When you cut an onion, you take it down the middle first, and then you just take this outer skin and you just peel that whole thing off. And that's going to make your onion just a lot cleaner and easy to work with. You're going to take and you're going to cut the ridge of the onion. And then you're going to take it this way. Okay, you're not going to cut all the way through. And then we're just going to take it, and look at how beautiful a diced onion you get there. I want you to remember to always use the claw formation with your fingers. Okay, always keep that thumb behind your fingers, because if you don't, you will very easily take the end of your thumb off. That's not anything we want in any classroom. We're going to take the second one, and when you get a little better at this, it gets a little easier. And that sharp knife just goes right through it. Take it this way. Give it a quick turn. Okay. And get those onions in our bowl. And now, the first thing we did on our cutting board was our onions. And that's because we still have to cut up chicken. You never want to follow chicken with onions. You always want to work onions first and then chicken, because chicken, you're always going to run the risk of having salmonella present. So you never, even if you're going to cook those onions, you never want to cut chicken first, okay? The only things that we're cooking for the hot part of the meal are chicken and onions. We're not going to cut anything else other than that. So now we can go ahead and do our chicken. Again, super careful. We're going to have to cut parallel to the cutting board, because we're using a random chicken breast, and a random chicken breast is a nice fat chicken breast that we got to take down a little for dicing the chicken. And again, you just want to let your knife do the work, okay? And these knives are razor sharp, and that's what you're going to want every single time, is a super sharp knife in your kitchen. And see, that just rolls right through. You notice my fingers are in the claw position, so that I don't have anything out front that can get cut. The nice thing about fingers in the claw position is that you may scrape your finger with the knife, but you're not going to cut it. Where if you have your thumb out here and you're cutting, that's what's going to happen, okay? You want to use the claw with your thumb behind your fingers. We're just going to take this chicken and put it in our bowl. And we're going to do our other half. And I know I continue to talk about the sharpness of the knife, but the fact of the matter is a dull knife would never slice through this chicken this easy. And then we're just going to finish this up real quick. And we're going to put this chicken in our bowl, and there's our chicken for our chili. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn around to the stove, and we're going to start cooking. Okay. All right, we've got our chicken diced up, and we're going to go ahead and fire up our pot for our chili. We're going to start off with a little bit of olive oil. just a couple tablespoons. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit about this chicken, you can certainly use ground chicken, ground turkey, whatever you want for your white bean chili. But the fact of the matter is that I use chicken breast and dice it up because I like to know exactly what's going on with the meat I'm using. And not to say that that's an issue with ground meat, I just prefer using whole muscle meat. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with our chicken. And we're just going to move this around this pot a little because the fact of the matter is we don't want to totally cook it right now. We just want to get it to the point that it gets started cooking. We're just going to let that go for a little bit. All right, at this point, we want to go ahead and grab our garlic and get that in the pot. And what you're going to notice at this point is that already you're getting this amazing smell coming up from the pot. All right, let's go ahead and grab our spices. What we're using for spices today is we've got black pepper, salt, cumin, and oregano. And we start out with a teaspoon of each. Honestly, chili is very personal to people. You can use as much or as little of these ingredients as you want, or you can put in some of your own herbs and spices. This is just what I like. And I'd be lying if I said we didn't put in a little extra garlic powder and a little extra onion powder. Just because I like to fortify my flavors, I like to really build it up. Yeah, our chicken's looking really good. Oh man, it smells amazing right now. You're toasting all those nice herbs and spices. Now, with the chicken right here, this is when we start adding our other ingredients. We're going to get these nice green chilies in here. A lot of flavor there. We're just going to give that a little stir. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw in a couple of onions. We're going to get those right in our pot. We just want to get those cooking with everything else. And now we're going to want to let this cook for a full minute or two just to start getting these onions cooked up a little with our meat. And honestly, I like to use equal parts of chicken and onion because I really like onion. And I think that, you know, it adds a lot of flavor. I've never worked anywhere where somebody said, take that back, it's got too much flavor, okay? This is the real deal. And you can see that our onions are cooking up nice. Everything's looking really great. We're just going to give that a minute and we're going to take a look over here. So, one of the things that I really like to do is when I make white bean chili, I like to use a little tiny bit of roux to thicken it up just a little. Because even after my sour cream and my heavy cream are in there, I just like to tighten it up a little. Because basically the sauce to this is one of the 5 mother sauces. It's a bechamel. And we will at some point go through all the mother sauces. But the 5 mother sauces, we remember it by Better Hope Tomorrow's Very Exciting, Bechamel, Espagnole, Hollandaise, Valoux, and Espagnole. I think I got those in the right order. So now you can see in this pot that our onions are breaking down just a little. Smells delicious. This is right where we want to be. So we're going to go ahead and grab another spatula and our butter. And we're going to switch these burners so that you can see the roux being made, because roux is simply 1 part butter and 1 part flour. Okay? We've got some nice soft butter here. We're going to get it right in our pan. And our chili is just cooking up a storm. It's absolutely perfect right now. And you can see our butter melting. And as soon as that butter's melted and hot, we're going to add our flour to it. And now that our onions are nice and cooked down, we can go ahead and grab our corn and get that in there. It's just a mix of some white and yellow baby corn. Super fresh and delicious. And you know, one of the things that you're going to find out about me the more we cook together is that I don't like processed food. Because really, it's so easy to cook really great food without using a bunch of processed ingredients. You know, scratch cooking is very easy, and it's actually pretty quick once you start getting the hang of it. So, our butter is just about ready to incorporate our flour. We just want to make sure that we try and use even parts of butter and flour. We're going to get that last little butter melted up in there. There we go. Now, the one thing you don't want to do is brown this roux. With this being a light colored bechamel sauce, you just want your roux to be lightly cooked. Okay, you don't want to overcook it, because if you brown your roux, you're going to wind up making your sauce a different color than you want. It'll be darker than what you want. So that right there is where you want your roux. And all that roux is nice butter and flour, equal parts. Now, our soup, our chili, is absolutely perfect and ready to add our sour cream. We're going to add about 1.5 cups of sour cream here. We're going to go ahead and stir that in with everything else. And the funny thing is that at this point in the process, everything starts to leach a little liquid. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to switch these burners again so that you can see what's going on in this pot. And you can see that sour cream is just looking really great in there. And now, we're going to get our cannelli beans. Now here's an interesting thing about these beans, is that I like keeping the juice on the beans because it adds flavor to your chili. A really interesting thing about the juice from cannelli beans is if you're making a vegan meringue, you can whip up that juice from the cannelli beans and it'll get frothy just like egg whites. It's very interesting. All right, so now our beans are in here. This is starting to look like some really great chili. Now, at this point, I like to go ahead and get my heavy cream in here, because we're not going to boil this. We're going to let it come up to a hard simmer, but we're not going to boil. Now, we're just giving it a nice stir. And now we just need it to get hot to the point that we're steaming. And once we get good and steamy, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this roux in there. And then we're going to turn that heat down and just let it simmer. Okay? So at this point, I'd like to go back to the cutting board and we'll start cutting some garnish to go with our white bean chili. Hey there, here we come with a really hot pot of white bean chili. You can see how beautiful and thick that is. We've gone ahead and incorporated our roux. And now, just before plating, we're going to go ahead and we're going to work a little garnish magic, okay? Again, super sharp knife. I like a few jalapenos on mine. Take the jalapeno, just slice her down the edges like this. And that way you're not dealing with any of the pith or the seeds. And you just take her, lay her out like this and give her a quick slice. Okay, and we're just going to go ahead and add that to the jalapenos that are in our cup that are ready to go. And now we are going to change knives because we're going to work on this avocado next. And the thing is, in a segment before this, we talked about avocados, how easy it is to cut yourself when you're opening up an avocado. So always just take your time. You never have to be in a hurry when you're doing this, okay? And sometimes you get a surprise. They're not always perfect, but we can get what we need out of here to make a perfect product. Okay? We're going to take a slice that way, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to peel it. Okay, and we're going to do this the other side at the same time. There you go. That's what we're looking for, okay? And we're going to take that, and we're just going to take a few perfect little slices right off of it. Okay, and now we'll get rid of that brown at the top, and that's what we'll have for a garnish for the avocado. And now we've got this cilantro. Now cilantro, we can go ahead and use the same knife as we did for the jalapeno, and we're just going to grab a little handful of this cilantro. And we're just going to start cutting her. Okay, there doesn't have to be anything real special for this. We just want to break it down. And when you're chopping the cilantro, you're going to notice the really fresh smell that comes out of this. It's so delicious. And you know what? We're going to take one handful of this cilantro and go right into our chili. Boom. Beautiful, okay? We're going to stir that in. Yeah, look at that. Now, for all common purposes, this chili is totally done. I'm going to grab some fresh gloves, and we're going to dish up a bowl and garnish it. Why am I changing my gloves so much with this food? Because this is ready to eat food, okay? Ready to eat food, you always have to use gloves. Earlier when you saw me cutting up the chicken and the onions, I didn't necessarily need gloves for that because that was food that was to be cooked yet. But with ready to eat food, you always need your gloves. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to dish this up. Just take our time so we get it all in the bowl. We're going to set this guy over here. Now, when it comes to garnishing, we're just going to take our time, grab our knife, and just lay on this avocado. Okay? We're probably just going to take a couple of these little jalapenos, put them in a little pile down here just in case somebody doesn't want them. They can easily scoop them out. We'll put that cilantro on over there. We've already got our crackers on the plate. Bam, that is perfectly ready for service. I hope you enjoy this recipe. If you're looking for us to do something that you want to see, you can email us at tbelisle@kcpublicschools.org. Thanks, have a great day. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the Cardinal Cafe on Fine Arts Fridays. I'm Chef Tom, and today we're going to talk about putting some instruction back into instructional video. On most of our videos we'll be doing cooking, however today we're going to touch on knife sharpening. I know that I always talk about how important a sharp knife is and how a sharp knife cuts and a dull knife tears. So today we're just going to take a couple of minutes and our triple stone and show you exactly how to sharpen a knife. When we open our stone, we'll notice that it has three very distinct stones in here. A rough stone, a medium stone, and a very smooth stone. So we're going to start with our rough stone. We're just going to grab a little oil. Put just a drop of oil on there. It doesn't have to be much. And when we take our chef's knife, we're going to run this at about a 22-degree angle. So this would be a 90-degree angle. This would be 45. We're going to go a little bit more than that. We're just going to take it, and we're going to run it across that stone from heel to tip. And it should only take about 5 or 6 times on either side to get a good edge onto your knife. Each time you finish, it's important to take your towel and wipe off your blade. And then we're going to switch to our medium stone. Just as we did with our rough stone, we're going to put on a drop of oil. It doesn't have to be much. And we're just going to go again. And we want to make sure we're going heel to tip every single time. And then just like we did before, we're going to rotate it one more time to our fine stone. And this is where we really get our edge. Of course, we're putting our oil on one more time. We're going to give that knife another wipe because we want to take the excess oil off of it. And I want you to notice when I'm wiping this knife that we always wipe from the spine, okay? Never on the blade side, always on the spine side. We're going to go ahead, we're going to wipe it down. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our stone and set it aside because that's really all we need it for. And at this point, we're going to bring out our steel. And I know that very often when you see me sharpen a knife, you see me sharpening it like this. This is the way I was taught, but for me, a safer alternative for people is to put down a towel, because if you don't put down a towel, your steel is sliding around. So you put down a towel, and you just run it 4 or 5 times on either side. Now, at this point, the reason we're using the steel is to take the burrs off of the blade that are left from the stone. And you can see that here's those little burrs here on the towel. And now this knife is razor, razor sharp. And when you're checking the sharpness of a knife, you always go across the blade with your thumb. You never go this way because you're almost guaranteed to cut yourself. So now that we have an extremely sharp knife, we're going to go ahead and we're going to break down a couple of chickens. because when you go to the store and buy chicken, if you buy a whole chicken, economically, you're coming out so much better in this regard. Plus, you've always got some pieces left over to go ahead and make chicken stock, especially if you're doing something like a chicken a la king or a chicken pot pie to make your sauce or gravy. Today, we're going to show you a couple of different things. We're going to show you how to spatchcock a chicken like if you're going to smoke it. And we're also going to show you how to do it in half. And also, we're going to show you how to cut it up 8-way like if you were frying it. So, I learned to cut chicken when I was about 14 years old, and this is the way I was taught, and it served me well for a long time. You're going to take your French knife, about midway through the back, you're just going to start cutting. You're just going to get that backbone out, and as you can tell, the knife is extremely sharp. I mean, it is rolling right through here, okay? You're going to keep this chicken back and you're going to put it in your bowl because that's what you're going to use for your stock. And when you make chicken stock, if you have a pound of chicken, you're going to use 8 ounces of celery, 4 ounces of onion, and 4 ounces of carrot, along with a half a gallon of water. And then a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic, and some thyme, okay? That's going to be your basic chicken stock. So now, we have our backbone out of our chicken. We're just going to give it a little push there and break that breastbone, and then we're just going to slice right through. Okay? Now we've got 2 delicious half chickens. You can roast those up just the way they are, put them right on the plate, and that's a delicious chicken dinner. Or, if we're going to cut this 8-way, you take and you feel this little seam in here between the breast and the thigh, and you just give a little cut, okay? See that? You're not cutting through any bone there, you're just cutting tissue. We're going to do that again right here. You're just going to feel for the best spot to cut through, and again, just easy peasy, okay? Now, on these breasts, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take off these wings, and we're just going to go up here and we're going to feel around. And right here, you can feel the joint. And this is where you're going to start cutting, okay? And just like that, you have your wing off of there, and you have a real nice breast for roasting. We're going to do the same exact thing right here. We're just going to feel for that joint, and we're going to slice right through. Again, we've got the breasts and the wings there. Now we're going right to the legs and the thighs, and if you turn the thigh upside down, you look for a little fat line in here, okay? And you're going to take and you're going to follow that fat line just on the drumstick side of the chicken, and I guarantee you every single time you're going right through that joint. I'm going to do that one more time right here. You see that fat line right here? We're going to take it on the drumstick side and just cut right through. And you're always letting your knife do your work, okay? You don't have to work really hard. Once you find those joints and you understand the makeup of the chicken, it's really easy. So, we're going to run through that one more time. This time, we're going to stop when the chicken is spatchcocked, and then we're going to take it into 2 half chicken portions. So again, we'll get a hold of our chicken right here, above the thighs, take our knife, and get in there. Now, when I say this knife is sharp, I mean it's extremely sharp. So please, be very, very careful if you're doing this. There's our chicken back again, perfect for our stock pot. Now, a lot of people, when they are doing a chicken, they will take off these wing tips and they will put them in the stock pot as well, okay? I prefer to keep the wing tips on, but I'm just trying to show you every option. We're just going to take this other one off right here. And now, having done that, if we take our chicken like this, see this big fatty glob right here? if we're spatchcocking a chicken, we're going to take that right off and put it right into our bowl for our scraps. Now, this is a spatchcock chicken, okay? We're going to season this any way we want. Very typically, people will take butter and put it up under the skin with the legs and the thighs. But for the sake of what we're doing right now, this is as far as we'll go with this. In the future, coming up in some more episodes, we're going to start doing some good wintry stuff like chicken and noodles, chicken pot pie, chicken a la king over a biscuit. But for today, I just want to concentrate on actually cutting up the chicken. And so once we have our chicken cut in half like this, now we're going to go through the breast. Now, sometimes this breastbone might be a little bit difficult to get through. Put your faith in your knife. You've got a good sharp knife. Just hit it and go through it. Okay? And there you've got two beautiful half chickens for roasting up if you're having a party with friends. There's not much more impressive than putting a half chicken on the plate. Thanks for coming by today. You know, as always, if you have any questions or something you want to see that we haven't done, you can email us at tbelisle@kcpublicschools.org. And we're always happy to return an email or do a project that you haven't seen yet. Hope you all have a great day.
I chose manual because it's challenging and fun, and it can help me with college.
I chose manual because I wanted to get a jump start in my career with culinary arts.
I chose manual to acquire skills I'd use in real life.
I chose manual because I want to be an ER doctor, and being an EMT is my first step.
Kickstart your future today at Manual Career and Technical Center. Manual is open for all 11th and 12th grade students in both Kansas and Missouri. Learn more today at enrollkc.org/manual or call 816-418-5200.
I am Lincoln Middle.
At Lincoln Middle School, students discover their talents and passions, where teachers plant the seeds of lifelong learning.
I am Lincoln Middle,
where excellence is nurtured. Students develop the skills to be successful in school, career, and beyond.
Je suis Lincoln Middle.
Lincoln Middle is the public school where your child will thrive and grow. Open a world of possibilities. Apply today. Learn more at enrollkc.org/Lincoln Middle.